Today we're talking about a common topic in the beef industry, dressing percentage. It's something that many beef producers use to assess the value of cattle, but is it really the best way to measure saleable product? Stick around to find out why you might want to look at a different standard instead. Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. So if you're involved in the beef industry, you're probably familiar with the term dressing percentage. It's a metric used to determine the amount of usable meat in a carcass after slaughter. But here's the catch. It might not always be the best way to determine how much saleable product you'll actually get from that animal. So what is dressing percentage? Simply put, it's the weight of the carcass after slaughter, minus things like the hide, blood, head, and offal, divided by the live weight of the animal and multiplied by 100. It shows how the carcass weight of an animal compares to its live weight. For cattle, a typical dressing percentage is around 62%. Sounds simple, right? You get a percentage, and then you use that to determine how much usable meat you'll get from that animal. But here's the problem. Dressing percentage doesn't tell the whole story. Let's break down why. First off, dressing percentage is heavily influenced by factors that don't necessarily reflect the quality or quantity of meat you'll actually be able to sell. For example, the amount of fat, muscle, hide weight, gut fill, and other outside factors can all impact this number. Let's say you have two animals that both weigh 1,600 pounds live. One might have a dressing percentage of 65% and the other 61%. But that 61% animal might have higher muscle mass and better fat distribution, leading to higher quality cuts of beef and a better yield of saleable product. In contrast, the 65% animal might have a lot of fat or other factors that reduce the overall quality of the product. But you can't determine that just by looking at the dressing percentage. Dressing percentage only looks at the carcass weight, but it doesn't consider how much of the carcass is made up of other byproducts like bones and fat. That's why relying on dressing percentage can be a little misleading when trying to determine how much high quality saleable beef you'll actually get. What really matters is how much yield you'll get from the carcass itself. For example, an animal with a higher percentage of lean muscle and less fat will yield more saleable beef, even if its dressing percentage is lower. On the other hand, an animal with a lot of fat may have a high dressing percentage, but much of that weight won't end up in the consumer's grocery cart. So, what's a better way to measure the amount of saleable product? It all comes down to carcass cutability yield. This metric looks at the total amount of usable meat that comes from the carcass itself. In short, if you're focused solely on dressing percentage, you might be missing the bigger picture. A higher dressing percentage doesn't always mean more meat. By looking at factors like carcass cutability yield, you'll have a better understanding of how much high-quality beef you'll actually get from that animal. So the next time you hear someone talk about dressing percentage, remember, it's only part of the equation, and it might not always be the most reliable measure of how much saleable product you'll actually get. If you're serious about maximizing your beef production, focus on carcass yield and other key metrics to make the best choices for your beef operation. Thanks for tuning in. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you want to learn more about carcass cutability yield, make sure to tune in for a future video. Until next time.